Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Code Man Movies. A little sooner than the last video. I'm glad I'm, somewhat keeping a schedule here. Let's just get into this right away, guys. I actually want to catch a movie tonight, and let's just get into it. No screwing around here. I'm just drinking water today, guys. It's been a hot day today, and wanted to stay hydrated. Especially, if I'm going to have any kind of alcoholic beverage, movie theater, or anything like that. So yeah, guys, let's just get into it. Talking movies. No big life updates or anything like that. Same old, same old. I hope you guys are all doing good. If you have anything going on in your life, please let me know. Let's all share. Let's all talk. Let's all be friendly. If you're not friendly, well then don't be here, because I don't like unfriendly people. But anyways, guys, let's go into it. Let's segue into a friendly person who is Michael J. Fox. I think everyone kind of knows who Michael J. Fox is. This is a documentary on his life, and so much to learn about Michael J. Fox that I didn't necessarily know. Specifically with his Parkinson's disease. That was weird how I said it. I had no clue that this happened when he was in his 20s. That shocked me. And then the fact that he was filming stuff and hiding it. I had no clue about this. And this is something that is really talked about in the documentary. Michael J. Fox talks about it quite a bit. I'm just calling him Michael. I'm not on first name basis with him, but I feel like I can call him Michael. And I just didn't know anything really about that. And this documentary is so cool and unique in the sense that it uses footage from his movies, from Family Ties and such like that, to stitch together an idea of what he's kind of talking about. If Michael J. Fox is talking about how he was having this busy day filming this, it shows a clip from something with a character of his being busy. And I like that they did that and kind of just gave it, I don't know, they kind of put some pictures behind the story almost, and it was really interesting. I love his humor, and I love the humor in this movie. I was shocked at how much humor was in this movie. But there's just little things that Michael J. Fox says, something that was in the trailer and is in the movie. There's a scene where he's walking in New York, and he just falls over, and a woman walks past. She's like, "Oh my God, are you okay?" He's like, "Yeah, you knocked me right off my feet." And it's just those little kind of jokes that he tells that is just really great, and it is funny, and it is sweet. This man who is dealing with this horrible disease, being able to have this humor, it's just really great to see. It's so beautifully edited. It is kind of bittersweet, but at the end of the day, it is a very inspired documentary. If you're having a bad day, I mean, this is kind of one of those things you watch and go, you know what? Life could be a lot worse. Suck it up, Buttercup. And you just go with it. And I love how personal and truthful Michael J. Fox is in this. He's talked about, when I was doing this, I was probably a bit of a dick. I was a little full of myself, and I could have did better. And I am doing better now. And that's great to see. Something I wish I would have seen a bit more of was his wife. His wife has stuck by his side throughout all of this. She has taken care of him. She's been with him. Such like that. She's gone through all of this. I would have loved to have seen a little bit of her side of it. I mean, this is a Michael J. Fox movie, so in a sense, we almost don't need to. But, she gave up acting and everything to raise the kids, let him have a career, essentially, and now just taking care of him and being his wife. And it's a very beautiful thing to see that their relationship is so strong and pure. But I kind of would have liked to have seen a little bit more of his wife. His wife is featured in this documentary, but I would have liked to have seen a little bit more, and just gotten a little bit of her perspective. I really would like to have seen that. Oh, this is a really great documentary, guys, and if you haven't seen this, it is on Apple TV Plus. I wish it was in theaters. I would have loved to have seen this and supported this in a theater. Fortunately, it wasn't. I did watch it on Apple TV Plus. So I'm going to give this one a 9 out of 10, guys. This is a really great documentary, and this is probably my favorite movie of 2023 so far. I love this movie so much. And like I said, it really is just so inspiring and heartwarming. And yes, sad at times. But at the same time, the way Michael J. Fox handles it is just so beautiful. and it is inspiring and heartwarming. So, yeah, really great one. If you haven't checked it out, you should. Next up, guys, a not-so-good documentary series. It's a 3-part documentary series, House of Hammer. So going into this, I knew nothing. I know nothing of Armie Hammer's really personal stuff. I do know he did some things to women that was not great, and he's kind of out of movies at this point. So I really knew nothing. So this was a really interesting thing to see. And then not only know all the things that Armie Hammer was doing, but his history, his father, his father's father, his father's father's father. This line of men doing terrible things with the power that they have, and how disgusting and pathetic and pitiful it is, some of these things that they're doing. I could not believe some of the messages that he was sending these women and such like that. Truly disgusting, horrible things that were being done. And, you know, something that it's hard to watch something like this because it is not fun. Whereas Michael J. Fox's was sad in the reason that he has Parkinson, but that it's bittersweet by the end because of the fact that he is taking it so well. It's a happy ending in a sense, even though it's not fully happy. This is just not happy. This is all just gross, disgusting, awful things. And it's not a pleasant watch, but it was something that I don't know what drove me to watch it necessarily, but it was something that I guess I just wanted to know what exactly was going on. Because, again, all I knew is he was being terrible to women is essentially what I knew. Yeah, I've learned so much, and it is gross. It really is gross. This documentary also talks about a comeback, in the sense that technically Armie Hammer could to do some things and maybe make a comeback, and how pathetic that is. It's wrong. You know, people like Kevin Spacey have not really made a comeback. James Franco really has not made a comeback. So it's a positive thing that these people are not getting comebacks. But at the same time, they've made millions. They probably still have millions. They're just retired, is the way I see it. And to be retired with millions of dollars after all these terrible things, there should be more being done. And I do think that's wrong. And the documentary does talk about that and how pathetic that is. And just the fact that nothing's happened. And I don't like that. So yeah, it's interesting that it has touched on that. Nothing has been done. Nothing. I mean, Armie Hammer is living in a big-ass house, probably in California, living the dream. And that is terrible. I hate that. I really do hate that. So as far as the documentary goes, guys, this is not a fun one to watch. I don't want to rewatch this one. And there is some interesting details and such. There is some things to learn here. Overall, though, it gives enough facts, but it's nothing spectacular. And just enjoyment level. It's hard to enjoy something like this. So I'll give it a 7 out of 10 because it is done well, I think. It is giving out a lot of pieces of the story. Obviously, you're not going to get Armie Hammer's side of the story for this one, which makes it one-sided as well, which is unfortunate. Where something like Still had his wife, his kids, his physical therapist, other people are involved in Still. It feels like we are getting many sides to the story, whereas this feels very one-sided for the women, which is great. I'm glad the women get to speak out. At the same time, it is a one-sided documentary at the end of the day. You know, this documentary kind of is all men are bad, and in this case, yeah, all Hammer men are bad. So I'm going to go 7 out of 10 on this one. It is well made. I just don't ever want to watch it again, and it grosses me out just thinking about it. Next up, guys, we have True Lies. This is a James Cameron film from 1994. The greatest year in movies, guys. I mean, Speed, True Lies, Pulp Fiction, Shawshank Redemption, Forrest Gump, Lion King, the original, the only good one. What else do we got? 1994, there was more. The Mask, Ace Ventura, Dumb and Dumber. I mean, you can go on and on and on. So many great movies in 1994. shoot, I lost it. Well, it'll keep charging. Anyways, yeah, great year, 1994. This is a classic action movie that is beloved by so many. It is a great movie. I will start off back by saying that. I will say the beginning half of this is a little less interesting than the second half. If you don't know the plot of this one, basically Arnold Schwarzenegger is this spy, but his family has no clue that he is a spy, including his wife. And so one day he believes his wife may be having an affair, and he basically kind of, essentially not really by accident, kind of brings her into the spy game, and things go from there. And it's the beginning half where we just kind of learn that, okay, Schwarzenegger's a spy, that's great. And then we see, this whole affair stuff. That's where it's a little boring. This movie's also 2 hours, 20 minutes. I think if you cut out a little bit of that, make it a tight 2-hour movie, it would have been a little bit better. Still a really strong movie. And the first half is just kind of a little slow for me. Second half, though, gets really great. From the minute that Jamie Lee Curtis's character just becomes this spy, this iconic strip scene, Jamie Lee Curtis is incredible in this movie, not just because of this scene, just period. She does such a great job in this movie. From then on, it becomes a really great movie. The action is really great. I will say some of the effects have not held up over time, but a lot of the action sequences are fun and exciting and great. A little cheesy at times, but that's James Cameron for you. It's just a solid movie. There's definitely some stunt doubles you can see in here, especially towards the beginning of the movie, that are clearly stunt doubles. But overall, this is a really fun and exciting movie that I thoroughly enjoy. Ridiculous and fun, and just what an action movie should be. And this could be one that you and your significant other could really enjoy. If you have a wife or a girlfriend, this would be a good movie to watch together, because there is a strong female character in this movie. Schwarzenegger is great. There is some comedy beats to it, some fun action sequences. It's a fun movie. Is it the greatest James Cameron movie ever? No. Especially when you think about the special effects. Like, these special effects have just not held up. I mean, it was 94, but Terminator came before this, and I would say Terminator special effects are better than this one, which is interesting. So yeah, guys, it's a solid movie. Not one of Cameron's best work, but it's still a really good movie, and I really enjoy it. I'll give this one an 8 out of 10. It's just a great, fun, exciting action movie, and you gotta love it. Next up, guys, Little Mermaid came out this Memorial Day weekend, and so I had to watch the original. And I remember watching this as a child. I had a friend who became a girlfriend who really liked this movie and watched it all the time whenever I went to her house or anything like that. And, I hadn't probably watched it in, 20 years, something like that. And it is great like I remembered. I will say the story is very simple. Ariel and Eric essentially fall in love because they're both pretty. It is typical, like, the father's just not happy with his child kind of thing. Eric is just needing to find a wife because he's a prince. Like, we've seen that in so many different things. But it works for this children's movie. It is so beautifully animated. The characters are so beautifully realized. The eels and Ursula and all the mermaids and Flounder and Sebastian and Scuttle, they're all just beautifully designed. I like their design and such like that, and it looks beautiful. The music in this movie is absolutely phenomenal. Everyone Knows Part of Your World and Under the Sea. Iconic songs. So yeah, and there's also really interesting kind of like horror elements with Ursula as well. She is a scary, kind of a drag queen kind of villain. And she takes mermaids and essentially turns them into plants. Plants them in her garden. I mean, that's creepy and awesome and cool. Yeah. And yeah, so I mean, besides the fact that it's kind of simple and typical of a Disney thing, it is an enjoyable movie. Yeah, I think my biggest issue with this one is just the fact that two people fall in love because they're pretty. I don't necessarily buy that. Um, but yeah, other than that, guys, this is a fun story. I like Flounder. I love Sebastian. I like Scuttle. Scuttle's probably my favorite. He reminds me of me a little bit. And yeah, I really do like this movie. I don't have a whole heck of a lot to say for it. As far as a kid's movie and animated movie goes, I would say it's a 9 out of 10. It's really an enjoyable movie. I have fun with this one. It's a good movie. It's held up in the 20 years that I've probably last saw it. Talking about the new Little Mermaid now, let's start out with the underwater stuff, because there is moments that you can tell it's being filmed digitally and such like that, that nothing is real, they're in harnesses and such like that. There's moments. I don't think it's as bad as some people are saying, though. I will say that. I think there's a couple things that people are saying about it, and I'm like, no, not necessarily. People are also saying it's dark. Dark like under the sea. You can't really see anything. I don't fully agree with that, especially when you watch the animated kids one. At the beginning, everything underwater is a little darker. Yes, when you're in the palace and under the sea moment, it is more bright. But like part of your world, that is a dark sequence, really. Flounder lights up, Ariel lights up, and that's really about it. I think that's a pretty dark sequence. So I think it's just kind of doing what the animated one did. I will say this, the animated characters, the cartoon characters, look better than they did for The Lion King, for example. I think Flounder looks a little better. Maybe it's because he's a fish and he doesn't have much of a face. Maybe it's because Sebastian does not have much of a face. Whereas Lion King, Simba has a full-fledged face, and when he's sad, he looks the same as when he's happy, and it just doesn't work. This looked a little better for me. It still is there, though. I see it, and I'm just like, eh. But I think it was improved. I will also say this as well, is that I think, like with Lion King, I Just Can't Wait to Be King was essentially just them walking around animals and walking around a pond or lake or whatever, and it wasn't very colorful. They managed to make, like Under the Sea, for example, which in the movie is very colorful. They managed to make this a little more colorful while still keeping it looking realistic. So I found this just a lot better as far as growth from The Lion King. My personal opinion. I know not everyone's agreeing with me on that. Ariel, played by, is it Haley Bailey? Phenomenal. All the crap on the internet about her being of color is stupid. Get off it. If the actress is great for the role, she's great for the role. And she's great. Beautiful singing voice. Phenomenal. Javier Bardem, great Triton. He's really not in it much, so there's not a whole heck of a lot to say about him. Ursula, played by Melissa McCarthy. A lot better than I thought it was going to be. Again, she's really not in it that much, really, at the end of the day. But I think she does a great job, really. I was kind of shocked. Even though she is a 2-time Oscar nominee, I was still kind of just by it, because I thought she'd make it a little too goofy. There are a couple moments that are a little goofy. I kind of think they worked, though. I forget who plays Prince Eric. He does a great job, though, too, as well. And yeah, all the acting in this movie is good. The voice cast is very good. Something I was a little unsure about was Awkwafina as Scuttle. Which is another thing they kind of changed up. Scuttle in the movie, or the animated movie, is female in this movie. And I like Awkwafina in this role. I think it totally worked, and I was not sure about it, but fantastic. I loved her as Scuttle. The musical numbers, guys, there is 3 musical numbers taken out. There is the one at the beginning of the movie with the men on the ship. There is the one with the mermaid family in the kingdom. And then there is the Cook song that is taken out. And they put in 3 songs. One with Eric, which I don't feel needs to be there. He has a great singing voice, but I just didn't feel it needed to be there. One where it's an inner kind of monologue for Ariel, which I get why it was there. Again, I don't think it was needed. The third one is probably the most controversial one that people are really talking about. And that is this kind of rap kind of thing. Lin-Manuel, I can't say his name. the guy who did Hamilton, he wrote the song for this, and it's more of like a rap between Scuttle and Sebastian. People are not loving it. I think because the character of Scuttle is so crazy and over the top and ridiculous, for me, it worked. I kind of enjoyed it and was just laughing. I thought it was a great little joke. Not everyone's liking it. I personally found that out of all the three of them, that to be the best. The other two I just didn't think need to be there. The original Little Mermaid is 90 minutes. This is 2 hours and 15 minutes. I cut out those 15 minutes. Make it 2 hours. That's fine. Especially since they did add something to this story. Eric as a character is not looking for a bride in this, which I like. It's not the typical thing. Instead, he is a man that wants to explore the world. He wants to figure out, what else exists in this world. Very similar to Ariel, who wants to be where the people are. She wants to see the world that is not just under the sea. And I did appreciate that. They gave Eric more of a story. It's not just we're two beautiful people, let's fall in love. It's more to that. And I really did like that aspect, that they gave Eric a little something. Something I didn't say about the Little Mermaid animated one as well. It's the same as this one. The ending to me is a little weak. They take a boat and they crash it into Ursula, who's Big Ursula. Which the ending of this one, CGI Ursula, it looked so weird. I didn't think it worked. But it seems very quick. It's kind of like a blink and you miss it kind of moment. For me in the animated movie, considering its length and such like that, it's not as climactic. With this movie being over 2 hours, though, it was just like, that's it. We built up this big battle, and that's it. And yeah, this one also does not have the garden of mermaids. It chose to just use eel electrifying people, which, not that scary. I mean, it still is, I guess, but... So yeah, not quite as dark, I would say, as the original one. But, out of all the live-action Disney remakes, I think this is more of the thumbs up than the thumbs down. I enjoyed this quite a bit. Do I need to go see it again in theaters? No. Will I be purchasing it on Blu-ray or anything like that? Probably not. If it's on Black Friday for $5, maybe. But at the end of the day, I feel like, I'm not going to say you should just watch the original like I have other ones, because I do like that they flush out Eric's as character more. I think maybe watch these back to back. Watch the animated one and then watch this one, or watch this one and then the animated one. I think these are good back-to-back movies. Both of them are enjoyable. Yes, it's the same story, but I do like this one flushed out Eric more and made the love story a little bit more believable. In the cartoon, it's just, we're beautiful, let's be together. I would like more than that. As far as the rating goes, I kind of want to go 8 out of 10 on this one, but at the same time, 7 is more of the number I'm really feeling. It's not amazing. It's not bad. It's good. It's good. Definitely take your kids to this one. There's not that many movies that are kid-friendly right now out. Just Super Mario Bros., which has been out in theaters for over a month now at this point. So, take them to Little Mermaid. I don't think you'll regret it. Next up, guys, we're going to talk about Schitt's Creek. I watched this show during the pandemic, actually. It would have been 2020, I believe, that I started watching this. A friend actually recommended it to me. A friend who I would not have guessed that would be the type to watch this show, but he recommended it to me. And I gotta say, I wasn't expecting to like this show. Boy, do I love this show. Let's just kind of talk about the characters and why I love the show because of these characters. Because this is a very character-focused show, which I really appreciate. Starting with Alexis, just because she's right there on the poster. A spoiled brat girl who essentially thinks she needs a man to complete her. And what I love about her character as she goes on is she realizes she doesn't. She needs to love herself first and find herself and realize what makes her happy and not depend on another person to make her happy necessarily. And I love that about Alexis. She is Out of the four, my least favorite, but I still really enjoy her. Next, talking about Johnny Rose, Eugene Levy. He's the one that I feel like is the most stable out of all of them and the most realistic. He also is the one I feel like to make the best out of a bad situation. And he's definitely the smartest, I think, of the group. Not much to say about him, really. He doesn't, I feel like his arc doesn't change too much. He kind of does stay the same, but becomes maybe more of a humble person and a more kind person, understanding person by the end of this show. I will say that. Catherine O'Hara, who plays Moira, her arc literally does not change at all. She's still kind of just this pompous, oh, bye-bye kind of thing. And love her, though. I think Moira is she's the funniest character in the show, in my opinion. I absolutely love Moira. Everything she says, the way she says bye-bye and such like that. Great character. And, I'm going to take back her not having an arc because she does realize that she has been a terrible mother by the end of this, I think. And she wants to do more to be a better mother. I will say that. It's by little things, and she does have an arc. I will say that. More than Johnny Rose, though, in my opinion. Well, maybe not. Maybe they're tied. I don't know. I just love her in this movie. Catherine O'Hara is great in this show. Just phenomenal. Then David, played by Dan Levy. Probably my favorite character. He definitely has the biggest growth. He definitely, spoiled little brat. And by the end of the show, he realizes that, maybe this small town is what he needs. I guess spoilers for this. I didn't really say it at the top, but I haven't really spoiled much. But by the end of the show, he gets married, and he has decided that Schitt's Creek is his home. And I love that. I love that this character has grown and realized what he's needed in life is not the things that was in his previous life. It's in this life. And I love that. He has his shop that he built in this town. Not built, made, I guess, in this town. Just everything about it is great. I love his shop. Just everything local from the area, all in one convenient place. I like that. David is a great character. David's every use of the F-bomb in the show, too. It's not all the time, but when it's said, it's perfect. And David's delivery is the best. It's just the perfect moment to use the F-bomb when it happens. And I absolutely love every time the F-bomb is said in this show. It's weird to say that, but it's so true. There are cartoony people in this. Roland Shit is just a hillbilly cartoon character. I don't necessarily love it. There's definitely some funny moments, though. What else can I say about this one? There's definitely moments where you can tell it's on green screen. They'll be standing in the doorway of the motel leading outside, and you can tell they're on green screen. So some bad green screen, but the humor, the heart in this show is really great. It doesn't overstay its welcome. It's 5 seasons. I wish there had been more seasons of this, honestly. I would have liked just one more season. I think one more would have been just great. But, they knew when to end it. They felt that was the time. It's such a solid show. This has really become one of my favorite shows. This is my second time rewatching it. I feel like I'm going to rewatch it. I already want to rewatch it again after just finishing it. It's such a great show. I really do love the show. I am going to go... Oh, my gosh. I think I'm going to have to go 9 out of 10 on this one. It is cartoony. It is silly at times. But the heart, the humor is there. And it's just a great show to watch before work, after work. Like, I found myself watching this before work. Having breakfast, just watching an episode before work. And it just made my day a little better. So, yeah. Schitt's Creek, guys. Really good show. 9 out of 10. Next up, guys, Best in Show. I was in a Eugene Levy and Catherine O'Hara mood, and I had never seen this movie, Best in Show, that many people have talked about before. The mockumentary style of this movie is so interesting and cool. I don't know if this happened before The Office or like during The Office or what, but such a great show. The humor in this movie is phenomenal. It reminds me of similar humor to Schitt's Creek, actually. Just great humor. this movie has great balance of characters. All these people on the poster are main characters, and it balances all those characters really well, and I just like all the characters. You have Jennifer Coolidge and Jane Lynch, who are the rich people, who've won before. You have the hillbilly guy. You have the family that are, tight asses. You have the poor family putting everything on the line for this, and then you have the gay couple that are rich and just eccentric. And I just love all the characters in this, and not a single character is annoying to me. They totally work. Humor in this movie is just incredible. There are just truly great laugh out loud moments in this movie. And as a pet owner that loves dogs to death, Chester's currently sleeping. It made me smile. It made me laugh, and I absolutely love it. This is just one of those great movies that you should watch on a bad day, and it's just going to make you laugh, and it's going to make your day a little better. The pacing in this movie is great. The first half of this movie is essentially just introducing these crazy characters, and the second half is a dog show. And I just think it does it so well, and it is so funny. It's kind of a simple movie. It's just introducing people, dog show. That's really all this movie is. And it doesn't need to be more than that. And I just really enjoy this movie. As far as issues go, I don't know. It is silly. It is a little over the top. There are some silly moments, but I don't know. It's just a fun comedy. Christopher Guest, Jamie Lee Curtis, who we've talked about earlier today, her husband directed this and is in it. He's a hillbilly character, I believe. So yeah, I just think this movie's fun, has a lot of heart at moments that you wouldn't expect, and has some great humor, and I really enjoy it. All the acting across the board is great. The mockumentary kind of like editing and style of it, I like it too. This is a solid movie. I want to say it was like 2001 it came out. I really like this movie. I'm being really nice today. I'm going to go 9 out of 10 with this one. I really like it. I would say maybe just the one thing I don't love about it is there are moments that it is a little too cartoony. Things are just a little hit and miss. Not all jokes land, but it's a comedy. It's not necessarily going to happen. So, yeah, guys. That is the last movie I have to talk about today. Good. We're keeping it about a half hour. As far as movies coming out this week, guys, if you have seen any of my episodes before, seen some of my past episodes before, I love Spider-Man and the Spider-Verse. And so I'm going to rewatch that this week, and I'm very excited to go see Spider-Man and Spider-Verse, or not Into the Spider-Verse, Across the Spider-Verse. The second one. I'm going to go see it in IMAX, and I'm really excited. I won't be able to see it probably until Saturday, unfortunately, but, you never know. Maybe I'll go see it a couple times. Yeah. But yeah, guys, hopefully I'll have a video by, next Tuesday, next Wednesday. We'll see what happens. My life has been very crazy lately. But I am at a point right now where I want to save up money. I have a big trip coming up in July and August. I'm going back to my hometown in Wisconsin. I'm going to go visit my cousin in Minnesota for Cousins Weekend. And I'm going to Chicago for Lollapalooza, so, got to start saving up money for that because, Chicago ain't cheap. Planes aren't cheap. All that fun stuff. But yeah, guys, that is about it for today's episode. I hope you guys have a great day. Please tell me what movies you're seeing. Let's have some conversations, guys. Positive. No negativity, please. I don't like negativity. But you guys, that's about all I have. I hope you guys have a great day. Don't do anything I wouldn't do. Drink your liquids, whether it's water or alcohol. And yeah, we'll see you guys soon. Peace out.